What is up, Call of Duty fans? We're back with some more roster mania rumors and confirmations as far as the substitute rosters go. Again, if you just missed our last video regarding this, we did a top 15, what I imagined and envisioned as the most available players that were not in the Pro League qualifiers, not pending any legalities with their current contracts. We just kind of rated the top 15 players in a power ranking fashion. There have been a couple of additions. So last that we heard, the biggest confirmations were that Evil Geniuses and 100 Thieves have picked up their substitute players, but there have been more since then. And one that I actually missed while looking through is Robbie B has been officially picked up by Accelerate Gaming, so that takes them off the list. Since then as well, we also have seen that Overtime had picked up one of their players that, again, it was just a French-based player that would be joining as their sixth man. That would be Stan, a player that was playing with Train Hard Esports. They made a little bit of a run at Vegas, but he's also French-born, so he will be playing as the sixth with Overtime, who is no longer Overtime. Yeah, I'm sure you already guessed that, or you already know by now, but we'll make that announcement near the end of the video. And then beyond that, you're also taking a look at a couple other players that have made it in. Specifically, you look at Pander and Shocks. Two players that I did not initially have on my top 15 most available. Pander playing previously with the Pittsburgh Knights, Shocks previously with Mind Freak. They would be picked up by Midnight Esports and then Red Reserve. So this is actually the second time that we've seen an EU team, most notably the top two EU teams. We'll say the top two EU teams picking up an Australian player. It was Dens for Reciprocity before the game even started off, Black Ops 4. And now it's going to be Shocks. He'll be moving from Mind Freak to Red Reserve. Their stats are right there on the screen for you to take a look at as we go. So there are only a couple of teams that have spots available now. Team Spacely, Optic Gaming, United, Luminosity, Enigma 6, Heretics, and then not 100% sure what's going on with Team Envy. Bevels, who's currently their coach, is also listed as a substitute. I don't know if that's just a temporary thing or a full-time thing. Regardless, I wanted to go quickly through some of the players that were available that have either been picked up by other teams or are still on the list. So you've got Attach and Asim. We've already talked about them. SMG Flex gameplay. At this point, though, with there being so little spots, you would have to think that they're probably not likely going to be going anywhere. Likely just going to be sitting in the free agency market or trying to sit through the amateur scene. Again, we're not sure what FaZe is going to do because they just gave up both Priesta and Crowder to 100 Thieves. They say on loan. I have no idea what that is supposed to actually mean, whether they're still on contract with FaZe, but they're allowing them to play, or what the deal is with what's going to happen with them and the rest of that squad. Speaking of, we have Alex and Zuma listed here. Again, Zuma, one of the SMG players for FaZe. Alex, at this point, if you're a Lightning Pandas, if you're an EU, you have to think that the chances of you getting picked up are very slim to none. Maybe if you speak any Spanish, the Heretics would take a look at you, but I figured that that team is probably going to be looking for somebody from Movie Star Riders or Vodafone Giants to be their sixth man as they, of course, go into the league. A little bit beyond that, we already talked about GodRx, the Pittsburgh Knights. He's now playing with Evil Geniuses. Blast still available, and again, this would be a solid option, especially when you consider the players that were just previously picked up in the last couple of hours. You would think that anybody in these top 12 lists would be at a spot where they would be able to make a very strong addition. It just comes down to what does the contract say with G2. You go a little bit further up, Nolson and Phantom still available, and I think are very valuable. Again, Sween, you think that from the EU side, Nolson probably not much of a chance to get picked up past then. Phantoms, though, I still think would be a very valuable addition to any team. He definitely can put together and be a part of an amateur scene that could really make a run at being one of the top 16 teams from the open division. So we'll take a look to see what they're able to do there. Celium, and then Methods. Again, Methods actually has been picked up by UYU, the previous G2 player, and he was not listed as a restricted free agent from G2, so no idea how this all panned out as far as his contract goes, but he will be joining UYU as their sixth man. Celium, though, again, more of an SMG-centric player, of course, picks up the Maddox. You know, some of you say, well, he's technically a flex player. I still consider him more of an SMG player than anything else, to be honest, especially now that he's going to be filling in the role for Priesta. He probably becomes the SMG, which is a lot of the reason why I listed him as such. We already talked about what was going on with Priesta. Parasite, I still think if one of these teams is looking for an AR, you don't think that Enigma 6 will be. Obviously, he's probably not going to fit in with Heretics, but maybe Luminosity. Who knows? There's a possibility there. I think they could definitely benefit from having a solid sixth man. Parasite very well could be that guy. And the 3 and the 2 spot we mentioned, Dylan, one of the biggest additions that could possibly be picked up. Naturally, he would be picked up by another EU team. Reciprocity would lock him in as the sixth man, so he'll be flying out to Vegas to join the team there. Decimate is not able to be picked up as of yet. Again, restricted free agent. No one's bought out his contract. And then, of course, I still think If it's not Decimate, it has to be Lacefield. Lacefield, I think, is probably one of the best players that's available. Again, like I said in my previous video, I think he can fill any role, any weapon, no matter what, no matter where. I think he's probably the best option available. His stat lines are incredible as well. So you have to take a look at him and say that between him and Decimate specifically, I think there's definitely room for them to be picked up on one of these rosters. You got to think Team Spacely could desperately use a good 6-man, considering that there were some players that were not 100% really functioning when it came to the Pro League qualifiers, especially early on. And then you got to hit everything off with, again, a massive congratulations to Overtime Esports, or previously Overtime Esports. They will be now representing Denial Esports. Of course, a lot of controversy with Denial, as they were that squad that was not paying their players and then got bought out by a new owner who settled up all their debts, and now they're looking to make a return. So a big congratulations and a welcome back, I guess we should say, to Denial Esports, and I'm excited to see this team play. I think that the previous Overtime squad, I think these 5 guys are really talented. I think they got a lot of potential, and with proper coaching and proper analysis, I think they could really be a major contender. No bullshit there. And then you got to take a look at maybe other rumors that are happening. Spacely's team currently rumored to be in talks with Gen G. Would be interesting to see a Korean-based organization represented in Call of Duty, but there's also rumors that maybe possibly TSM, possibly looking into Team Spacely, obviously weighing their options, but as of the 28th, just a couple days ago, the rumor mill had that Spacely and the rest of the squad would possibly be in talks with Gen G. So a lot of things to consider. That's been a rumor mill breakdown for you guys. I'm still waiting for the schedule to pop open, as I'd like to do a schedule reveal video, but I think until then, I'm going to try to either keep my eye on the roster moves as well as substitution additions or subtractions as we have them come down when it comes to these last couple teams trying to find their 6th man. But I'm also going to be looking to do a power rankings by division as well as overall, I think, which is going to be a little bit difficult because the records are going to be a little bit washy, because I think Pool B, Division B rather, is so much more strong than Division A is, but that's my opinion. We'll see. We'll probably do one full power rankings and maybe also rank out who we think will finish where in the divisions. But those are all things to come. I just wanted to give you guys a quick update. Thank you guys for tuning in so much. If you missed the Pro Down recap, we also did one of those. And then beyond that, hope you hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell to know when my videos get posted. And until next time, hope that you keep holding it down. Later. Bye-bye.